BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Shawn and Molly. One more game to talk about before we get to our board game. I can't have you on the show. We can't talk about Calico. We got to make sure that we bring that in. So I've got a couple of pictures, and I'll tell you, this is not pictures I took. These are pictures from the Board Game Ambassador. She's been posting them, making me jealous with her pictures.
Saw those today.
I haven't got my game yet, but this is Verla's pictures of Calico, and well, you can tell she's an Instagrammer. Look at this. It's got the right shading and the framing and all that. Not like my terrible pictures that Carlos always yells at me about it. But, for people that haven't heard of Calico, and I'm sure they're not watching this show tonight, but just in case, give us the quick elevator pitch. What is Calico? And give us some details about if they can still pick it up somewhere. Is it still out there?
Okay, so Calico is a puzzly tile-laying game for 1 to 4 players. Like Shawn mentioned, plays about 30 to 45 minutes. And in the game, what you're going to do, everyone has their own little quilt board. And what you're going to do, you'll start with 2 tiles in your hand. I guess they're private information. And what you're going to do is you're going to do 2 things on your turn. You're going to play a tile, and then you're going to draw a tile from the market. And you can see all those great little colorful tiles over the course of the game. You're basically going to fill in your board, and you're going to be aiming for scoring points in 3 different ways. The first way is to meet the scoring objectives that surround those 3 tiles that you can see in the board. So there's 3 spots where there are different scoring conditions. There are many different tiles that you can put in there to meet the scoring conditions of the 6 tiles surrounding that central hex. The next thing you're going to do is be looking for the patterns. So in the photo, you can see different cats have different score different points, and they want slightly different patterns or scoring conditions. But then they also want the patterns on different tiles. So Millie, that little Calico, she's looking for flowers and ferns in this game, and she's going to score. Now I'm totally blanking on how many points Millie scores, like 3 points for any 3 of those patterns connected. And then, so you get points for your cats. When you meet the scoring conditions, you put the cat down on the board, and then you'll score it at the end. And the third thing you're going to do is try to get clusters of 3 of the same color of tile together. And so you sew a button on your quilt. And 3 ways to score, lots of variability, and that's it. Calico.
And that's a wrap up. That's everything about Calico. I actually got to, now Verla has her copy, but I have one over her. My buddy Ninja got me hooked up with Kevin, as you can see in the pictures, and Nick. And Kevin had his prototype of Calico, and I was blown away so much. I think the Kickstarter campaign was about to kick off right after Gen Con. I backed it right. Yeah, I backed it right away. A month or 2 later when it came out. So I'm waiting for my copy to come in, but I absolutely had a blast playing it. So Alex from the Dukes of Dice. Oh, by the way, Alex, I don't know if you noticed I'm wearing my Dukes of Dice shirt today. I didn't know Alex was going to be here. He said he was sick. He wasn't going to be in the chat crew, but his girlfriend Abby loves games like Patchwork, and that's the kind of game I love. Tile laying games, any kind of puzzle type of game. How, Molly or Shawn, do you compare Calico to Patchwork? It doesn't have the time mechanic, so it's not going to have that part if that's what she likes, right?
I'd say it's pretty similar. Really, like Patchwork is also elegant in that there's not really that many rules to learn, but the strategy is really deep in terms of the time. And Patchwork is one of, if you go back to the archives of the Flatout at the Table podcast, you can find a show with Molly and Rob discussing Patchwork, because it's one of Rob's very favorite games.
Oh yeah.
And he goes like a total deep dive on Patchwork. So if anyone's a fan of Patchwork, should listen to that show. But I'd say it's pretty similar to Patchwork in terms of like weight. And it plays in a similar amount of time. I mean, if you've played Calico a lot, and you're it's a really great like couples game, because if you like just want to play a game over and over again, like Molly and I will just sit down and play it. We can play it in like 20 minutes. Like, it's fast once you've played it a number of times. So yeah, pretty similar.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of retailers across the world actually express interest when we had our Kickstarter campaign out. So there were boxes of 6 that went out across the country, across the world, to a few friendly local game stores. So there are some copies out in the wild through them. And as you know, it's going to be in retail probably in October this year. I think that's the That's the word on the
Yeah.
street.
Sounds like the release date is in early October from AEG. So those that don't know, we signed a co-publishing, basically distribution publishing deal with AEG, so that for Calico, one of the things we wanted to do is get working on Cascadia and honestly have a pipeline to be able to get Calico out to more people and work with a company that we really know and love and trust to partner with to get the game into distribution and to get it broadly available in retail.
Oh, Beth, I am so sorry. I read prettier, but she said thinkier.
That's
well,
funny.
hey, Ninja is saving you there, Molly. He says it's both. It's both thinkier and it's prettier. So, and that is
I'll never live that down. I also think it's thinkier.
You know she's the artist, right, Molly?
I know she's the artist.
Well, I'm pointing the wrong way, Sean. I'll keep doing that. All right.
I heard her say something like that exactly, but
that's gonna be fun. So that's Calico coming out. So a new edition coming out from AEG Games in a co-partnership with Flatout Games. So that should make those excited in the chat crew who haven't played it yet, and you should. If you haven't played it yet, you should play. Kevin Russ is a wonderful person to visit with. Wonderful photographer, if you've ever seen his stuff on social media, and such a cool, smooth, thinky, puzzly little game that's pretty easy to teach and seems to have some replayability. I only played the one time with Ninja when I got my butt whooped, but I think there's going to be some replayability because all the tiles that come out, the different cats that come out, are all going to be different when they come out. So
yeah,
it's going to have all that.
And working with Kevin's been phenomenal. And the Flatout Games collab has just been this like snowball rolling down a big hill, right? And so now Kevin is so incredible to work with. Where he's involved with Cascadia. Like he's doing development for us and helping with all kinds of other stuff. He laid out the rule book to Calico, which I'm super. We're super proud of like just how clean and clear all that was, and he's helping work with Cascadia as well. So, thanks to Kevin for trusting us with his amazing game, and we hope we can do it justice.